Everyone, this is Satish Kumar, a lecturer in Electronics and Communication Engineering working at Government Polytechnic Masaptank, Hyderabad. Welcome to my video class. Today we are going to start analog communication subject, which is one of the important subject for DECE 3rd semester C18 curriculum. In analog communication, the first chapter is Basics of Communication System and Noise. After completion of this subject, you can able to understand what are the basic elements of communication system with its block diagram, what is the frequency spectrum and applications of different frequency bands, definition of modulation, what is the need for modulation in communication system, definition of amplitude modulation and its waveform, definition of frequency modulation and its waveform, definition of phase modulation and its waveform, and differences between baseband signal, carrier signal and modulated signal, and with some examples. The relationship between channel bandwidth, baseband bandwidth and transmission time, and the distortion and its causes, and what are the remedies to overcome the distortion, and time domain representation and frequency domain representation. The next topic is noise and its classification, internal and external noises, and important parameters related to noise, signal to noise ratio, noise figure and noise temperature. Let us enter into your subject. So in basics of communication system and its noise, basically what is communication? Communication means the process of transferring information from one place to other place by means of electrical signal. This is called electronic communication. In normal communication, the simple example for communication is expressing some thoughts. When you make conversation, you can speak some words, the audience will listen. This is also one of the communication, but that is not an electronic communication. That is normal communication, where you can use your language as the medium and finally the audience will understand your thoughts. Whereas in case of electronic communication, the information should be transferred from source to destination by means of electrical signal, not physical signals. Here you will be coming across a word called signal, and the second word is system. Signal means a physical information which conveys a physical quantity which contains some information is called signal. There are different types of signals: analog signal, digital signal, physical signals, periodic signals, aperiodic signals. So these are different types of signals. Every signal will contain some information. When you take a red light in traffic signals, which indicates stop the vehicle, green light indicates move the vehicle. Similarly, there are different types of signals. In case of electronic signals, there are analog signals, digital signals, periodic, aperiodic, continuous, discontinuous. There are a number of signals. So finally, signal is a physical quantity containing some information. That is called signal. The second important term is system. System is nothing but a combination of components arranged in a systematic manner so that it performs one or more tasks. That means if you take a computer as a system which is arranged in a systematic order and which is doing many tasks, and our body is also a system which is doing many tasks, and the components are arranged in a systematic order. Similarly, electronic communication system is also a system which will do one or more tasks. Coming to electronic communication systems, the examples for electronic communication systems are your telephone communication system, mobile communication system, radar communication system, satellite communication system, television communication system. So these are some examples for electronic communication systems. All these electronic communication systems will do one or more tasks, and in each system the components are arranged in a proper order. So that is about communication. So if you look at this diagram, so there is a tower which is nothing but a sender or transmitter, and which is transmitting the signal towards the receiver. The receiver is a television. So when the tower, which is containing transmitter and antenna, which is delivering the signal through the air, finally the receiver is nothing but television receiver is receiving the signal, and it is able to display the picture. So that is a simple example for communication. There are examples, already I told you. One of the example is telephone communication system. In telephone communication system, there are many telephone receivers, and all are connected to a common point called telephone exchange. When one telephone wants to communicate to other telephone, that means when a customer wants to communicate to other customer, the first customer will dial the number from his phone or her phone, and the number, based on the numbers, the call is connected to the other party through the telephone exchange. Here the telephone exchange is making switching. This is also one of the example. And the next example is mobile communication. In mobile communication, which is similar to your telephone communication system, in case of telephone communication system, there will be a telephone exchange and telephone receiver, whereas in mobile communication, telephone exchange is replaced by base station, whereas telephone receiver is replaced by mobile phone. So when you look at this diagram, there is a telephone receiver, there is a mobile phone receiver which is making calls to second mobile phone through the base stations. Here this tower indicates base station. Each tower is located in one cell. Here the tower is nothing but base station. Base station is doing same action that of your telephone exchange. The difference between telephone communication system and mobile communication system is the medium through which the calls or the information are connected is different. In case of telephone communication system, the medium is wire, whereas in mobile communication system, the medium is air. Hence telephone communication system is wireline communication, whereas mobile communication system is wireless communication. Yes, these are the two examples for communication system. There are number of examples: satellite communication system, radar communication system, television communication system, right? The next is, this is the first topic in your basics of communication system. Here you can see the block diagram of communication system, which contains basically three sections. One is transmitting section, receiving section, and communication medium. Transmitting section contains two important blocks. One is information source, the second one is transmitter. Whereas receiving section contains two important blocks, receiver and destination. And these two sections are connected by using channel. Right, this is called channel. Sometimes channel may be disturbed or interfered by a signal called noise, which is externally generated. So what do you mean by transmitting section? Transmitting section is nothing but which transmits the signal from the source of information towards the receiver via channel. Transmitting section contains information source, where information source generates information. The examples for information is voice, picture signal, text. For generation of voice is done by human being's mouth, whereas generation of picture is nothing but photographs and videos. And similarly text, you can send text also. Those are some examples for information. Those are physical signals. Physical signals and electronic signals both are different. Physical signals can be understood by human beings, whereas electronic signals or electrical signals can be understood by machines or your electronic devices. Hence it needs a conversion. Even our voice, text, picture, all are physical signals which cannot be understood by the electronic devices. Hence there it requires a conversion from one form to other form. Hence information source not only generates information but also it converts into electrical signals from the physical signal. So information source contains information generator as well as converter. Here the converter is nothing but transducer. Transducer will convert energy from one form to other form. Next, transmitter. Transmitter is a electronic device which will do mainly two functions. One is modulation, other one is amplification. So modulation is one of the process with which we can send many signals to a longer distance without any disturbance. So if you do not employ modulation, it becomes problem to send many signals. Hence modulation is compulsory. Simply modulation means changing the signal frequency. In the next slide we will discuss what is modulation. And similarly the second function of transmitter is amplification. Amplification means increasing the energy of the signal or increasing the strength of the signal, because communication system requires only for distant elements, not the elements which are nearby. Hence the signal should be transmitted towards a distant place, around hundreds of kilometers the signal to be reached. Hence the signal should possess more power or more energy. Hence transmitter will do that function of amplification. And sometimes it also does encoding also. The next block in basics of basic electronic communication system is channel. Channel is interconnecting medium between transmitter and receiver, and it carries the signal from the transmitter towards the receiver. The examples for channel are, there are two types of examples, or you can classify channel into two ways. One is wireline, the second one is wireless. For wireline medium there are 3 or 4 mediums. One is twisted pair, the second one is parallel wire, third wireline medium is coaxial cable, the fourth one is optical fiber. There are varieties of communication mediums based on their bandwidth offering. The twisted pair will offer less bandwidth, whereas optical fiber cable will offer more bandwidth. Here the bandwidth means the capacity of the channel or the capacity of the medium that can carry many signals. If the bandwidth is large, it can carry more signals. If the bandwidth of the medium is less, it can carry less signals. Bandwidth, you can assume it is similar to a road connecting two places. If the road size is larger, many vehicles will travel at the same time. If the road size is less, many vehicles cannot travel. So channels are two types, wireline and wireless. The wireless medium is nothing but air. The difference between wireline and wireless is wireline medium requires money, whereas wireless medium is very cheaper and available everywhere. Hence wireless communication has become popular compared to wireline communication because of this cheaper availability. The next element is noise. Noise is an unwanted signal which will interfere normal communication in the channel. Mainly the noise focuses in the channel. Sometimes when you send a signal from source to destination or sender to receiver, some unwanted signal will interfere or will disturb. So that is called noise. When some communication is occurring, if some other persons will speak other than these two persons, that is nothing but noise in case of normal communication. Whereas in this communication, when one telephone is communicating to other telephone, some third telephone voice, if it enters into the medium, that is called noise. Sometimes noise may be from the system or outside of the system. And one thing you should remember, noise mainly affects channel compared to other systems or other blocks. And the receiver. A receiver is also an electronic device which will receive the signal coming from the transmitter via channel. The receiver will do the opposite actions of transmitter. When the transmitter is doing modulation, receiver will do demodulation. And similarly, if it is digital communication, sometimes there are two types of communication, analog and digital communication. In analog we'll do modulation, whereas in digital we'll do decoding. Okay, in receiver demodulation and decoding is done, and in addition to demodulation, receiver is also doing what you call amplification. So first it receives the signal, it amplifies, it gets back the original signal, and finally it delivers toward the destination. So here the destination is the opposite element of your source. A destination also contains two things. One is destination point, other one is transducer, because the destination point is normal human being. The human being cannot understand electrical signal, hence it requires a transducer. So after receiver, the signal can be received by the transducer, and which will convert the electrical signal back into physical signals and deliver to the destination. I will tell one example, simple example for this basic communication system. If you take normal public address system, normal real voice communication system, normally when you employ a microphone, loudspeaker and amplifier, if you take that example, that is called public address system. So when some speech is given by the speaker and audience are listening, the speaker is the information source, microphone is the transducer, transmitter, channel and receiver combinedly inserted in amplifier, and destination contains audience as well as loudspeakers. I think you were clear with basic elements of communication system. So there are basically 6 elements. One is information source, transmitter, channel, receiver, destination and noise. The next topic in this is spectrum, frequency spectrum and its applications. So frequency spectrum is nothing but a range of frequency bands used for radio communication. So what do you mean by frequency? So already I told you there are two important things. One is system and signal. Signal is a physical quantity. There are 3 properties of signal. One is frequency, amplitude and time period. Frequency, amplitude and phase, not time period, phase. So every signal is differentiated by its frequency. All the signals are not having same frequency. So frequency means the number of oscillations that are completed in 1 second, or the number of cycles completed in 1 second is called frequency. Normally our household domestic power supply, the frequency is 50 Hz. The AC power supply is having 50 Hz. That means in 1 second there are 50 positive of cycles and 50 negative of cycles are completed. So that is called frequency, and which is very very low frequency. Whereas in electronic communication system or electronic communication we use high frequency signals. So for convenience, entire frequency spectrum is divided into many bands. The first band is ELF band, extremely low frequency band. The second band is VF band, voice frequency band. VLF band, very low frequency band. LF band, low frequency band. MF band, medium frequency band. HF, high frequency band. VHF, very high frequency band. UHF, ultra high frequency band. SHF, super high frequency band. EHF, extremely high frequency band. The second one is millimeter waves, infrared waves, visible spectrum, X-rays, gamma rays and cosmic rays. These frequencies are separated or differentiated by its frequency ranges. So band is nothing but range of frequencies. And there is a relation between frequency and wavelength. Here they have given lambda is equal to C by F, where lambda stands for wavelength of the signal, C small c is equal to velocity of light in free space, which is a constant value 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second, and f is the operating frequency. Here lambda and frequency both are same related to a single signal, but if one is high, other one is very less, because wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency. Lambda is equal to c by f. Every signal can be represented by either by its frequency or by its wavelength. If high frequency is, if the signal is having high frequency, the wavelength is less. If the signal is having low frequency, the wavelength is more. So, already discussed, every band will have its unique range. Extremely low frequency signals will have 30 Hz to 300 Hz, and you can remember this table in a simple manner. Every band is multiplied by 30. Okay, 30 to 300 is ELF, 300 Hz to 3000 Hz is voice frequencies. So, voice frequency is nothing but whatever the sounds that are generated by human beings mouth is called voice frequency. So, normally female person will have more frequency compared to male persons. Similarly, kids will have more frequency compared to normal male persons. So, our voice frequency starts at 300 Hz and ends at 3000 Hz. Very low frequency starts at 3 kHz, ends at 30 kHz. Low frequencies 30 kHz to 300 kHz. Medium frequencies starts from 300 kHz to 3000 kHz. High frequencies 3 mega to 30 mega. VHF very high frequencies 30 mega to 300 mega. Ultra high frequencies starts at 300 MHz to 3000 MHz. Super high frequencies 3 GHz to 30 GHz. Extremely high frequencies 30 GHz to 300 GHz. Similarly, when you convert frequency into wavelength, the extremely low frequency wavelength starts at 10 to the power of 7 meters to 10 to the power of 6 meters. You can see here the frequency is only 30 Hz, whereas the wavelength is 10 to the power of 6 meters. Here the frequency is 300 Hz, whereas the wavelength is 10 to the power of 7 meters. That means for low frequency, if the frequency is less, the wavelength is very high. When you look at extremely high frequency band, EHF band, whose frequency is 30 GHz, whereas its wavelength is 10 to the power of -3 meters, and its highest frequency is 300 GHz and its corresponding wavelength is 10 to the power of -2 meters. That means 1 centimeter, very less. And in the next slide, we are going to see applications of different frequency bands. So, in frequency spectrum, each frequency band cannot be used by all the applications. Every frequency band will have certain applications. One frequency band cannot be used by all the applications. So, when you look at very low frequency band, VLF band, which is used for long distance point to point communication and submarine communication. Submarine means naval. The submarine, you know, there are two types of navy. One is above the sea and under the sea. Under the sea means submarine. So, for the naval persons, for their communication, if they are under the sea or in the submarine, they use these frequencies. And low frequency LF band is used for marine and aeronautical navigation. Marine means above the sea. Aeronautical navigation means for normal aircraft communication. Medium frequencies are used for AM broadcasting. AM broadcasting means normal your radio communication. There are generally two types of radios. One is AM radio and FM radio. AM radio generally has less quality compared to FM radio. So, for AM radio, the frequencies are used are medium frequencies and high frequencies. HF band is used for telephone and telegraph communication. VHF band is used for FM broadcasting. So, FM broadcasting, the difference between this AM broadcasting and FM broadcasting is AM broadcasting has got larger coverage and less quality. FM broadcasting will have lesser coverage or shorter coverage and more quality. Next band is UHF band. UHF band is used for television broadcasting, mobile communication, microwave and satellite communication. The next band is super high frequency. హలో
సతీష్
శ్రీకాంత్ చెప్పు శ్రీకాంత్.
ఏంది బయటికి ఏమైనా షార్ట్స్ ఏమైనా చూద్దామని.
అవునా, నేను ఇప్పుడు ఏం రాను శ్రీకాంత్, వెళ్ళు.
అవునా, సరే సరే,
కొంచెం పని ఉంది.
సరే సరే
సరే, ఓకే, బాయ్. Very high frequencies, ultra high frequencies, UHF, ultra high frequencies. So television broadcasting from channels 14 to 83, that is normal television communication, and even for cellular communication, microwave communication, satellite communication. Super high frequencies are used for radar and microwave satellite communication. It's normal radar is used in aircrafts, even navy ships also. Microwave communication is one. In the absence of optical fiber cable, microwave communications are used. Satellite communication is one which is used for normal DTH TV and your GPS. Satellite communication is compulsory. So for that, SHF band is used, super high frequency, where S stands for super. Extremely high frequency, which is for experimental use, that is for scientific research. The next is modulation. What is modulation? So in basic communication system, the transmitter, the main function of transmitter is modulation as well as amplification. So modulation is a process by which a low frequency modulated signal is superimposed on a high frequency carrier signal. It's called modulation. So simply modulation means changing any one of the parameter. It's called modulation. That is called modulation. So there is one more definition for modulation: the process by which some characteristics of carrier signal is varied in accordance with the instantaneous amplitude of modulating signal is known as modulation. So that means modulation means changing any one of the parameter of signal in accordance with changes in the main signal. So we'll discuss what is modulation in detail in the next second chapter. Simply you should understand modulation means some change. There should be some change, because normal voice signal cannot travel for longer distance. That is why you take one of the other signals to carry its voice signal. So that other signal can be varied according to the changes in the main signal, that is your voice signal. So simply modulation means changing one parameter of signal, carrier signal, in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal. Or simply modulation means converting a low frequency signal into high frequency signal. Why do you require modulation? Generally modulation is done in the transmitter section or inside the transmitter. There are 6 reasons behind modulation. The first reason is to reduce the height of antenna. The second reason is to increase the range of communication. The third reason is to avoid mixing of signals. The fourth reason is to allow multiplexing of signals. Fifth reason is to allow adjustments in the bandwidth. And the last reason is to improve the quality of reception. And I am going to explain each and every reason behind need of modulation. Why do you require modulation? What happens if modulation is not there in a transmitter? How it reduces the height of antenna? So there are 2 types of communications. One is wireline and wireless communication. For wireline communication you require medium, which is costly, whereas for wireless communication medium is air, which is cheaper and available everywhere. But the constraint of wireless communication is it requires antenna. And what should be the size of antenna? That matters. So from the fundamental theory of antennas and the communications, the height of the antenna should be minimum 1/4 of the wavelength of the signal. When you send a signal through an antenna, the size of the antenna should be its 1/4 of the wavelength of the signal. Okay, so therefore then only the normal antenna will work, otherwise the antenna will not work. So what do you mean by antenna? Antenna is an element or is a component which converts electrical signal into radiation or electromagnetic waves. So and as well as it converts the reverse also. Antenna converts back radiation into electrical signals also. Basically antenna is also called as aerial, which converts electrical signal into electromagnetic signals. So for efficient communication, the minimum height of the antenna is 1/4 of the wavelength. So height h equal to minimum lambda by 4. So from the relation between lambda and frequency, lambda equal to c by f, and then therefore lambda by 4 is equal to c by 4f, where c equal to velocity of light and f equal to frequency, which is measured in hertz. What happens if there is no modulation? When there is no modulation, low frequency signals are directly transmitted. Let us take one example one. In case of first example, if the frequency of the signal is 15 kHz, the height of the antenna would be around 5000 meters. You will get, when you substitute 15 kHz in this formula c by 4f, you will get 5000 meters. That is the height of the antenna. That means almost it is equal to 5 kilometers. So erecting an antenna of 5 km is impossible or impracticable. So for wireless communication, if you want to send 15 kHz signal without modulation, it requires 5 kilometers of antenna, you can assume. And when you do modulation, the height of the antenna will be reduced. How? So from the fundamental definition of modulation is, it converts a low frequency signal into high frequency signal. The same 15 kHz signal can be converted into 1 MHz signal by using modulation. So when you want to send 1 MHz signal with the help of modulation, the height of the antenna becomes 75 meters only. If you substitute 1 MHz in this formula c by 4f, you will get 75 meters. And 75 meters is a practical antenna which can be easily erected or installed. The second reason is increase the range of communication. How modulation increases range of communication? Here range of communication means the distance or the coverage of the communication. Low frequency signals can be transmitted or can be reached to a smaller distance compared to high frequency signals. Already you know modulation converts a low frequency signal into high frequency signal. So when the signal frequency is increased, automatically its energy also increases. When the energy of the signal is increased, it travels to a longer distance. Basically any signal can be its strength can be reduced when it travels for longer distance. If you speak loudly, the sound will be reached to a longer distance. When you speak with less loud or with less sound, the signal or the sound can be reached only a little distance. That is called increasing the range of communication with the help of modulation. So when you use modulation, it increases the frequency, hence the signal can be transmitted towards longer distance and its range is increased, and it avoids mixing of signals. How it avoids mixing of signal? First of all, what is mixing of signal? Mixing of signals means when the signals are having same frequencies, mixing will occur. Mixing means interference. Already I told you, every signal is characterized by three important parameters. One is frequency, amplitude and phase. Out of this, frequency is very important. When the two signals are having same frequency, communication becomes fail. That means signals are mainly characterized by their frequencies. But the problem is, for the audio frequencies, what do you mean by audio? Audio frequencies means the sounds that are generated by human beings, musical instruments, as well as any sound come under audio, or which can be heard by our ears. The range of audio frequencies is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Almost all the sounds will be lying within this band. When the sources are more, all the frequencies are same. When the frequencies are same, when you send all the signals without modulation, they will be mixed, because there are many sources. If suppose there are two persons, if their frequencies are same, if they want to communicate directly to other two persons without any modulation, as their frequencies are same, they will be mixed easily, and the other two persons will not be able to understand. Hence, there should be some mechanism such that it changes their frequency and finally converts back at the receiver side. So for that, modulation is compulsory. With the help of modulation, even though the frequencies are same, the modulation will do changes in their frequencies. The first person frequency is converted to F1, the second person frequency is converted to F2, so that their frequencies are not interfered, and it allows multiplexing of signals. Modulation allows multiplexing. What do you mean by multiplexing? Multiplexing means sending many signals through a single channel is called multiplexing. Multiplexing means the channel is same, but it is shared by many customers or many sources at the same time. That is called multiplexing. If the frequencies are same, if you use same channel, they will be mixed. That is why there should be some mechanisms so that they will not, they won't arise any question of mixing or failing of communication. That is only done by multiplexing. So there are three types of multiplexing: time division, frequency division multiplexing, and wavelength division multiplexing. So when frequencies are changed for the signals and sent through the same channel, that is called frequency division multiplexing. When the time slots for the each signals are changed and they are sent through the same channel, that is called time division multiplexing. Let us suppose there are three signals, so which are sent through the same medium, but there is only one medium. It is difficult to send three signals through the same medium. So that is why, with the help of modulation, the first signal is modulated to F1, second signal is modulated to F2 frequency, the third signal is modulated to F3 signal. As the frequencies are different, even though they are traveling through the same medium, the frequencies are different, hence they won't be mixed. Finally, they will be received by the receiver. This is called frequency division multiplexing. And coming to time division multiplexing, the first signal is sent at one time instant of time, the second signal is sent at the other time instant of time, that is time slot. They are called time slots. Third signal is sent at third time slot. So each signals are sharing entire frequencies but at different times. That is called time division multiplexing. And it also uses for adjusting the bandwidth. The modulation is compulsory for adjusting the bandwidth. You know, bandwidth means range of frequencies at which the information is available. Or you can compare bandwidth with similar to your normal road size in transportation. If the road size is larger, many vehicles will travel. If the road size is smaller, only less number of vehicles will be transported. Similarly, in case of electronic communication, if the bandwidth is larger, many signals can be sent at the same time with more quality. If the bandwidth is smaller, only less number of signals can be sent. So for increasing the bandwidth or decreasing the bandwidth, modulation is compulsory. And it also improves the quality of the signal. So how it improves the quality of the signal? Because finally the receiver should receive signal with more quality. So when you do not employ modulation, when the signals are transmitted directly through the air or through the wire, there may be some loss of the signal. Finally the receiver cannot receive exact signal. So when you employ modulation, even though there is a loss of the signal in the transmission, finally that will be recovered, with the help of modulation. Next, types of modulations. Actually our subject is analog communication. Analog communication is also called as continuous wave communication. Basically there are different types of modulation. One is continuous wave modulation, pulse modulation. In continuous wave modulation there are two types of modulation, AM modulation and angle modulation. AM means amplitude modulation. In pulse modulation there are two types of modulations, pulse analog and pulse digital. In angle modulation there are two types, frequency modulation and phase modulation. In case of pulse analog modulation, pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation. In case of pulse digital modulation there are two types of modulations, pulse code modulation and delta modulation. Sometimes adaptive delta modulation also there. These are called types of modulations which are used in transmitter. But our topic is types of continuous wave modulations. So in continuous wave modulation basically there are two types of modulations, amplitude and angle. Every signal is represented by a sinusoidal format. One of the signal is represented here. Small e is equal to capital EC sin omega ct plus phi, where small e is the signal or instantaneous signal, capital EC is the peak value or amplitude, omega ct is the angular frequency of the signal, t is the time, phi is the phase angle, and where omega c is the angular frequency and which is equal to 2 pi fc, where f equal to operating frequency. So from this every signal will have three parameters. Every signal is having three parameters. One is amplitude EC, frequency fc, phi phase angle. So when you change amplitude of the signal, that is called amplitude modulation. When you change frequency of the signal, that is called frequency modulation. When you change phase of the signal or carrier signal, that is called phase modulation. So in continuous wave modulation basically there are two types. One is amplitude and angle modulation, and angle modulation contains two more types. One is frequency modulation and phase modulation. So continuous wave modulations are two types, amplitude and angle. In angle, frequency and phase modulations are there. What is amplitude modulation? What is modulation? Actually what is modulation means, for modulation there is a main signal which is to be received by the receiver from the transmitter. The problem with the main signal is it is having less frequency and less energy, and it cannot travel for longer distance. For that main signal, which is called modulating signal or baseband signal or basic signal, for that it requires an energetic signal which will carry the main signal. That energetic signal is called carrier signal. So there are two signals. One is basic signal or baseband signal, which is having main signal is called basic signal, and that is baseband signal and carrier signal. These two signals are given to a modulator. The modulator will generate modulated signal. So modulator will have two input signals. One is baseband signal, the second one is carrier signal. The baseband signal is the main or the message signal which is containing information, and the carrier signal is an energetic signal which carries the original signal and which is also an input to the modulator, and the modulated signal is the output of the modulator, right? So for modulator there are two input signals and one output signal, and the two input signals are baseband signal and carrier signal. The output signal is modulated signal. And coming to amplitude modulation. Amplitude modulation, the definition is amplitude modulation, the process by which the amplitude of carrier signal is varied in accordance with the instantaneous amplitude of the modulating signal, keeping frequency and phase of the carrier constant. So for every signal there are three parameters: amplitude, frequency, phase. When you change amplitude of the carrier according to your information signal or basic signal or modulated signal, that is called amplitude modulation. When you are changing amplitude of the carrier, you should keep frequency and phase of the carrier constant. So when you look at this diagram, there are three signal representation. One is modulated signal, the second one is carrier signal, the third one is AM signal. When you look at the shape of the signal, third signal, the envelope is similar to the first signal, modulated signal. That means initially the carrier signal is having constant amplitude, whereas at the output the amplitudes are varied, whereas the frequency phase are not changed. The amplitude is varied like this. Like this, the amplitudes are varied. Okay. When you are changing amplitude of the carrier signal, that is called amplitude modulation. Next, frequency modulation. It is similar to your amplitude modulation, but here frequency of the carrier is varied. And one more important thing is, modulating signal properties should not be varied, because that is original signal or intelligence, which should not be varied. The modulated signal will take the help of the carrier signal for its transmission. So if you look at this diagram, there is a modulated signal which is having very less frequency, and this is the FM signal. This is called FM signal. So in FM signal, if you look at this shape of the FM signal, the amplitudes are constant. The amplitudes are constant, whereas the frequencies are varied. Here less frequency, whereas here high frequency. So depending upon the amplitude of the message signal, the frequency of the carrier is varied. When there is no message, the frequency is not altered. When there is a positive message, the frequency is increased. When there is a negative message, the frequency is decreased. In this way, by changing the frequency of the carrier, you can generate FM wave. So there is a maximum frequency for positive message, there is a minimum frequency for negative message. There is no change in the frequency for the message having zero amplitudes. Next, phase modulation. Phase modulation is similar to your real modulation. In case of phase modulation, phase of the carrier is varied. So when you look at this diagram, it looks similar to FM wave, but there is a little difference. In FM wave, there is no change in the phase and carrier amplitude, whereas in PM wave, that is phase modulated wave, there is a change in the phase. That means there is a change of phase angle when there is a change in the amplitude. When there is no change in the amplitude, the frequency, phase, amplitude all are kept constant. So when you look at this diagram, here there is a positive message, and there is a negative message. There is a transmission here, there is a transition. When there is a transition from positive to negative, there is a change in the phase of the frequency in proportion with the modulated signal. So that is why there is a change in the phase here. Phase will be changed. So for positive messages, the phase will be same, whereas for negative message, the phase will be increased. That is called your phase modulation. So amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. In amplitude modulation, amplitude is varied. In frequency modulation, frequency of the carrier is varied. In phase modulation, phase of the carrier is varied. Next, coming to the signals: baseband signal, carrier signal, and modulated signal. Already we discussed, for modulator there are two inputs and one output. The first input is baseband signal, which is a signal containing information, and its format is small em is equal to capital EM sin omega mt, where small em is the instantaneous amplitude of the modulated signal, capital EM is the maximum amplitude of the modulated signal, omega m is the angular frequency of the modulated signal, fm is the frequency of the modulating signal. Baseband signal is also called as modulating signal. Any signal which contains the information is called baseband signal. Generally baseband signals will have low frequencies, but they contain information. Those are the original signals which should be transmitted by the transmitter and finally received by the receiver. The second signal is carrier signal. A high frequency signal which is used to carry the modulating signal is called carrier signal. Carrier signal is helpful for carrying the message signal, but carrier signal does not contain any information. The properties of carrier is it is having high frequency and higher values of amplitudes also, and its representation is small ec is equal to capital EC into sine omega Ct, where small ec is the instantaneous amplitude of the carrier signal, capital EC is the maximum amplitude of the carrier signal, omega c is the angular frequency of the carrier signal, fc is the frequency of the carrier signal. The carrier wave by itself carries no information. The information has to be added to it somehow. That is called modulation. Next, modulated signal. The circuit which performs modulation process is known as modulator. Already I told you, modulator is a circuit which performs modulation. For modulation, the inputs are baseband signal and carrier signal, and the output of the modulator is modulated signal. In the modulator, the modulating signal is superimposed on the carrier wave in a proper manner. Superimposing means keeping the message signal onto the carrier signal in some manner by changing its frequency, by changing its amplitude, by changing its phase. So that is called superimposing. Superimposing means keeping the message signal over the carrier, either by changing amplitude, either by changing frequency or by changing phase of the carrier. The resulting signal of the modulator is called modulated signal. Okay, so till now we discussed what is basic block diagram of communication system, what is frequency spectrum, and what are the uses of different frequency bands, and what is the modulation definition, and what is the need of modulation in communication, and what are different types of continuous wave modulation techniques, amplitude modulation definition, its waveform, frequency modulation definition, its waveform, phase modulation definition, its waveform, and baseband signal, carrier signal, and modulated signal. And examples for baseband signal are your normal original signals, that is your voice, text, picture, whereas carrier signals are nothing but your signals that are there in frequency band, that is your frequency spectrum. Sometimes VLF band is having some frequencies, that is called carrier signal. Sometimes VHF band is used as a carrier signal, that is called carriers. So carriers are nothing but your frequencies that are there in the frequency spectrum, and modulated signals are nothing but the outputs of the modulator, whatever the signals that are coming from the transmitter, all the television signals, radio signals, mobile signals, Bluetooth signals, all are the examples for modulated signals. So these are the topics in today's class, and in the next class we will discuss bandwidth, the relation between two different bandwidths, and what is distortion and how to overcome distortion, and noise, types of noises, signal to noise ratio, noise figure, and noise temperature, right? Okay, thank you.